Pesach Shabbat. Exodus chapter 13, verse 17. Now when Pharaoh had let the people go, God carried them not by the way of the Philistines' country, though it were nearer. For God said, lest the people repent when they see war, and turn again to Egypt. But God made the people to go about by the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up armed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had made the children of Israel swear, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall take my bones away hence with you. So they took their journey from Succoth, and camped in Etham, in the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, to lead them by the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, that they might go both by day and by night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. Exodus chapter 14. Then the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they return and camp before Pi-Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, over against Baal-zephon. About it shall ye camp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say to the children of Israel, They are tangled in the land, the wilderness hath shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after you. So I will get me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon all his host. The Egyptians also shall know that I am the Lord. And they did so. Then it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this, and have let Israel go out of our service? And he made ready his chariots, and took his people with him, and took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and captains over every one of them. For the Lord had hardened the heart of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and he followed after the children of Israel. But the children of Israel went out with an high hand, and the Egyptians pursued after them, and all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen and his host, overtook them camping by the sea, besides Pi-Hahiroth, and before Baal-zephon. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. Wherefore the children of Israel cried unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, Hast thou brought us to die in the wilderness, because there were no graves in Egypt? Wherefore hast thou served us thus, to carry us out of Egypt? Did we not tell thee this thing in Egypt, saying, Let us be in rest, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians, than that we should all die in the wilderness. Then Moses said to the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and behold the salvation of the Lord, which he will show you this day. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen this day, ye shall never see them again. The Lord shall fight for you, therefore hold your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel, that they go forward, and lift up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand upon the sea, and divide it. And let the children of Israel go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, I will harden the heart of the Egyptians, that they might follow them. And I will get me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon all his host, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the angel of God, which went before the host of Israel, removed and went behind them. Also the pillar of the cloud went from before them, and stood behind them, and came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. It was both a cloud and darkness, yet gave it light by night, so that all the night long the one came not at the other. And Moses stretched forth his hand upon the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to run back by a strong east wind all the night, and made the sea dry land, for the waters were divided. Then the children of Israel went through the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left hand. And the Egyptians pursued and went after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses and his chariots and his horsemen. Now in the morning watch, when the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians out of the fiery and cloudy pillar, he struck the host of the Egyptians with fear. For he took off their chariot wheels, and they drove them with much ado, so that the Egyptians every one said, I will flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch thine hand upon the sea, that the waters may return upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots and upon their horsemen. Then Moses stretched forth his hand upon the sea, and the sea returned to his force early in the morning, and the Egyptians fled against it. But the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. So the water returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, even all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not one of them. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land through the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel the same day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the sea bank. And Israel saw the mighty power which the Lord showed upon the Egyptians. So the people feared the Lord, and believed the Lord, and his servant Moses. Exodus chapter 15. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and said in this manner, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and him that rode upon him hath he overthrown in the sea. The Lord is my strength and my praise, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him a tabernacle. He is my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. His name is Jehovah. Pharaoh's chariots and his host hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also were drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them, they sank to the bottom as a stone. Thy right hand, O Lord, is glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, hath bruised the enemy. And in thy great glory thou hast overthrown them that rose against thee. Thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as the stubble. And by the blast of thy nostrils the waters were gathered. The flood stood still as an heap, the depths congealed together in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake them, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Thou blewest with thy wind, the sea covered them, and they sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like thee, so glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? Thou stretchest out thy right hand, and the earth swallowed them. Thou wilt by thy mercy carry this people, which thou deliverest. Thou wilt bring them in thy strength unto thine holy habitation. The people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall come upon the inhabitants of Philistia. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed, and the trembling shall come upon the great men of Moab. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall wax faint in heart. Fear and dread shall fall upon them, because of the greatness of thine arm. They shall be as still as a stone, till thy people pass, O Lord, till this people pass which thou hast purchased. Thou shalt bring them in and plant them in the mountain of thine inheritance, which is the place that thou hast prepared, O Lord, for to dwell in, even the sanctuary, O Lord, which thine hands shall establish. The Lord shall reign forever and ever. For Pharaoh's horses went with his chariots and horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam the prophetess, sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women came out after her with timbrels and dances. And Miriam answered the men, Sing ye unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he overthrown in the sea. Then Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness, and found no waters. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of the place is called Marah. Then the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which, when he had cast into the waters were sweet. There he made them an ordinance and a law, and there he proved them, and said, If thou wilt diligently hearken, O Israel, unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear unto his commandments, and keep all his ordinances, then will I put none of these diseases upon thee, which I brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee.